Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to your favorite news destination. You're watching In Your Interest with me, Kabir Naqvi. And on the show tonight, Bengaluru's roads hum just a little bit louder today. The riders are back. Uber, Ola and Rapido, they resumed their bike taxi services across the city. A bold move. Just today, after the Karnataka High Court openly questioned the Karnataka government's blanket ban on the plying of these bike riders and service providers. Bike taxis haven't been seen in Bengaluru since the 16th of June. And now, after the High Court's stern observation just yesterday and a 1-month ultimatum to the state government, the debate over regulation versus prohibition is hotter than ever. The state banned them, citing safety. They cited congestion and legal violations. But now, the court has put the government on notice. 1 month to clarify the government's stance. And bike taxi operators, 6 lakh of them, they're watching very, very closely. The High Court's sharp observation was simple. Why prohibit when you can regulate?
It is easier for me because it's cheaper and I can reach a place more faster. I'm coming from a different place. In my place we have bike taxis, we don't have much problem there. So I've been always used to bike taxis.
Bike taxis should not be banned because, students are facing a lot of issues because we don't pay. Autos, it's getting too much paid for us, and the bike taxis, it's a bit lesser than so.
It's really a need, no? We have to think in a both perspective. I told you, right? One is as per our requirement and one is for their requirement. Anyway, they are also getting a benefit. And people also getting a benefit.
Bike taxis are very convenient. Like when people banned this bike taxis here, people went through a lot of difficulty because Bangalore traffic is one headache, and bike taxis, like, they can easily commute through the way.
Cheaper, faster, convenient. Those are the adjectives that the commuters talk about. And yesterday in the court, bike taxi aggregators argued that this is a legitimate business under the constitution. They solve Bengaluru's biggest problem, last mile connectivity. They also pointed out that 13 states in India have already regulated bike taxis, and that too successfully. On the other hand, the state government says that there are various safety concerns, particularly for women. Also, the bike taxis use private number plates, violating Karnataka's motor vehicle rules, and more importantly, they add to the traffic congestion. But the court's observations have been blunt. They asked the government to show evidence that bike taxis cause more congestion. Court also stated that lack of regulation cannot justify a complete blanket ban or a prohibition. The underlying message was quite simple. Here's that particular message. Regulate, do not eliminate. A regulation makes sense because it upholds the right to trade and commuters' freedom of choice. It boosts the gig economy and reduces the carbon footprint, critical for bridging the city's last mile transport gap, and also offers an affordable, a convenient option for millions who want to ply on the roads of Bengaluru. With background checks, training, with insurance and licensing, other states have shown that regulation does in fact work. So why did the government of Karnataka impose a ban in the first place? Allegations are flying thick and fast. Auto and cab unions allege that bike taxis undercut their own businesses. Autos and cabs pay recurring taxes, whilst bike taxis pay only a one-time tax. So, is this really about safety and traffic? Or is it more about revenue and political pressure? Or is it about protecting the auto lobby? The big question that we're trying to decode and ask today. After the High Court's wrap, will the Karnataka government finally bring out regulations, or will it cling to a blanket ban? Well, the ball is now in the government's court, because in the end, this is not just about two-wheelers, it's about the right to trade, the freedom of choice for commuters, and the future of urban mobility in India's tech capital. Let me introduce our guests on the broadcast today. Satya Prakash, spokesperson for the KPCC. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Vivek Menon, former advisor to the Chief Minister of Karnataka and a civic activist and expert. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Salim, who's the president of the Nama Bike Association, and also with us on the show is going to be soon Tanveer Pasha, who's the president of the Auto and Drivers Association. Salim ji, let me come to you first, who's the president of the Nama Bike Association, and let's get this point cleared out. First and foremost, riders say that this is about livelihood. This is about a lot of money at play. But how do you as somebody who's speaking for these bike riders, for pro-bike aggregators, how do you balance that with safety concerns, especially in the congested Bengaluru road, something that has been cited in the courts also? And the court only sought the government stand. It has not allowed resumption. So what's really happening on the ground? Today we saw so many bike riders, are operators not indulging in contempt of court?
Yeah, actually, see, it was like a light of hope, sir, for those people. For 3 months now, they were nobody were caring about those people or something like that. So yesterday they got a little bit of relief from the High Court saying that the bike taxi is not supposed to be banned. It is supposed to be regulated. So on that basis now, today all of our riders, they got overexcited and they came on the roads and they wanted to, you come to know now. What is their situation? Suddenly they got this relief, means they are happy about it actually.
So this is, but how is this essentially relief? The court has said that we've given Karnataka government 1 month's time.
Those people have taken it as a relief.
Okay.
But from the court side, now still the order has not been passed actually.
Yeah. So aren't the bike riders worried that this might be contempt of court tomorrow?
Yeah, they are. From morning now, I'm telling we have been informing each and every bike riders in our groups, in our in our Insta page, each and everything that it is not, still now it is not to be like bike taxi should come on the road actually. Okay.
But still people have taken it into their own hands, but people are still going on to the road. That's what's happening.
They are that is what I'm telling you now. Until unless these people say something, they are coming on the road in the urge of earning something today.
Okay.
That is what the bike taxi was about actually. Since 3 months now, this bike taxi, this bike taxi people now, they have chosen different ways and different this thing. So whatever the other company, like for Swiggy, Zomato also now, their income has also been reduced due to this. There is no proper income for these people. So suddenly they got confused or something like that. So they came on the roads now. So
all right. From the other side of the divide, we've got Mr. Tanveer Pasha, who's the president of the Auto and Drivers Association. Mr. Pasha, how are you looking at today's developments? Today, the roads, it sounded a little bit more hotter. There was more throttle on the roads today because these bike riders came onto the roads. Why are you opposing the bikers and, the entire aspect of these Uber, Rapido and Ola aggregators? Because the commuters on the ground say that it's cheaper, it's faster, there's last mile connectivity, and it's bottom line convenient. So what's the problem?
There's a big story behind that, but basically I'll tell you, I just wanted to clarify one thing. Being a citizen of this country, law-abiding citizen of this country, we have to follow the rules and regulations. If there is no rules under the law book, so we shouldn't start that. We should take the permissions and then start the businesses. So these companies started the businesses without any permissions, without, even though in the Motor Vehicle Act, there is no any exemption for these bike taxis. So they raised the fund today. So fleet is big and now they are telling many things, and even though they don't even care for any law, rules, regulations. These companies, I'm not talking about these bike riders. They are our colleagues and friends, we call our partners, like associates.
All right.
I clearly blame even one of Namma Bike Taxi Union, something is there, no? I forgot his name. They said after 3 months aggressively they came out. No, this aggregator companies opened the challenge to channels. Bike taxi options were in the application. They opened that. So then these people logged in. So this is directly contempt to the High Court of Karnataka from the companies, not from the drivers actually.
Yeah, that's a great question. Mr. Menon, take a look at this. Mr. Pasha here says that it's the aggregator that's in contempt of the court, not the rider who opened the application, logged himself in and then accepted those rides and then finally went to pick up those pillions. Where do you stand on what all has happened today? And should the bikes actually be allowed to ply? How big of an issue is congestion on the roads? Because we've got some data which we will put out on our screens as well. But first and foremost, where do you stand on this particular matter?
So, I think personally, with a growing population, I think Bangalore's population is now right at 14 million or 1.4 crores. I think there have to be alternatives, and this whole concept of last mile connectivity. I think, unfortunately, the public transport systems that we have not been adequate, and they haven't really necessarily, served each and every citizen who wants to commute on our roads. Now, of course, to compound that, obviously, we have autos and we have, cars also flying around as taxis, but they haven't been able to really meet the demand. And that's the reason why there's been a big hue and cry to bring back these bike taxis. Now, that being said, it's very important to have regulation. I think the Auto Owners Association just said that, we need to have rules and regulations under which we ply. So it is very important for these aggregators to come under that ambit. And if need be, safety measures have to be put into place, then they have to be. But at the same time, the government needs to take that up on priority. Just banning it is obviously not the solution. Regulating it truly is. And I think I applaud the High Court for having stepped in and said that it needs to be regulated. So there is a genuine demand, especially, going back even 15 to 20 years, Bangalore has always faced a crisis when it comes to transportation, mobility. And I think, to compound it today, if the government says that, it's unsafe, I say that their potholes are unsafe. We've got roads that are so unsafe. If they were to make them safe, then all of these different modes of transport can come together. Bangalore does need a multimodal solution. It cannot have just one solution. So with metro, with the bus system that we have, with taxi cabs and with bikes, we are able to provide a very, very healthy coexisting solution. And if you look at it today, even autos and taxis have become extremely expensive. So to a commoner, the bike taxi at probably, 6 to 8 rupees per kilometer is really a solution. And I think there are a lot of people in that bracket who really want to use it. So I think it's important to find a solution. And I applaud the HC for having come out and said that, don't ban it, regulate it.
But, from a ground sentiment point of view, bike taxis, clearly from what you've just told us, seems to be a necessity for the metropolitan. But are these bike taxis clearly alone, the biggest material in that recipe for traffic congestion?
Well, traffic congestion is not necessarily because of the different modes of transport. I mean, we even have probably, Tongas, and we sometimes have, smaller, slower moving vehicles on the road. I think the biggest problem that causes traffic congestion is poor quality roads, is poor design of intersections, is poor a network that does not necessarily meet up with the growing traffic problems, traffic volumes that we have in Bangalore. So I don't necessarily attribute it to the kind of vehicles that we have. Yes, we do have a mixed regime of vehicles on our roads, and potentially we could have better, civic sense when it comes to riding on our roads. I would strongly urge a lot of the two-wheelers to stop violating the rules. Many of them actually do not stop at traffic signals. Many of them ride the footpaths. That is an area of concern, surely. But at the same time, I think, having these different modes of transport are complementary in nature. But I think the BBMP and, of course, the state government needs to work on improving the quality of our roads, because with smooth roads, you can have as many cars, as many vehicles as you want, and you will still have movement of traffic that meets the volume needs of our city today.
So a lot of factors at play when you're talking about the traffic gridlock that is so usually witnessed across the IT tech city. Mr. Satyaprakash, let's bring in the government's voice here. You've heard the Nama Bike Association president. You've heard the Ola Uber Drivers Association. You've heard a civic activist, former advisor to the Chief Minister of Karnataka. What is the government's take at this point? Because when we're answering that question, whether bike taxi ban improved the traffic in Bengaluru, we've got some of that data. Let's put that out for all our viewers. On the 16th of June, which is day one of that blanket ban, on Monday, traffic grew by 18%. The very next day, it grew by 22%, then another 22%. June 19th was 16%. All that data in front of us, done by the TomTom Traffic Index. On June 22nd, 1 week later, it was still 13%. So with no bike taxis, the traffic was still going up. Now, help the viewers understand that the High Court has called the ban arbitrary. It's called the ban unconstitutional. Then why is Karnataka government resisting when you have examples of successful implementation and regulation from 13 other states? And what is the government's take when all these bike riders took to the streets today, even when that single bench order is still binding?
Hi, Kabir. See, the Karnataka government has a responsibility towards all three who are sitting here in our panel. The Auto Association President, the Jig Workers President, as well as Mr. Vivek, who is from the civic society. We have a responsibility for all three. Regarding Auto Association, we have a responsibility that they pay taxes. They are yellow boards. While we have to respect, they buy an auto at 2 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs. They pay more taxes, so we have to take care of them. Now the gig workers are there. They are going to give good transport, last mile connectivity, but they are not paying taxes. We need to regulate that point of view. My friend Vivek is there from the civic society. He is not worried about all things. He is all worried about how much is the cost to the customer. If it is 6 to 8 rupees or 7 rupees, he wants better transport for a customer who is going single. So the government is very clear now that we have to keep all the stakeholders in our mind. And since today the Honorable High Court has given 4 weeks time to the government to come up with a regulation policy, and our Advocate General, Mr. Shetty, has said very clearly that he is going back to the government and coming out, with a clear policy, and he will reply to the High Court after 4 weeks. But what I am concerned is, look at what Uber and the Rapido has done today. They have put all the gig workers under risk. Today they have opened up their platforms, and these guys are using it. The police today can catch them and put a hefty.
But why isn't the police catching? No report has come out that the police has caught them, sir. And Mr. Ramalinga Reddy, he does not want to answer in front of the media. All we've learned so far is that the Transport Minister is going to knock on the door of the Karnataka High Court next. But nothing is being done on the road.
What I'm telling is, see, if it is not started, it is good, because the poor guys will be at risk. Imagine their vehicles will be confiscated. But what is Uber and Rapido doing? Don't they have a responsibility to tell, to understand the High Court judgment in the real sense? Why are you putting my friends Salim's brothers into problem? So, as a government, we are telling we have a responsibility to take care of the interests of the auto and taxi union also. We have a responsibility towards the gig workers also. Now, the government will go back. No, it will sit with all the stakeholders,
okay, and
will come to a conclusion what it has to reply to the High Court. But my worry is this Uber, this Rapido, High Court, should not be lenient on these companies who are putting the lives of these riders at risk. Why can't they wait? Will the sky fall down?
Haven't they been waiting for the longest time, sir? They've been waiting for the last 67, 70 odd days. And suddenly one little statement that comes in their favor, look at the emotion that's running high. जिसके पेट में भूख होगी वो बाहर निकलेगा पैसा कमाने सर.
Statement has not come in their favor. What the High Court has said is, it has asked the government to come out with a regulatory policy. If the regulatory policy says that white boards are not allowed and you have to come with a yellow board, that means the laws have to change, because two-wheelers there are no yellow boards. So there is a lot of process which is involved.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. It won't happen in a day. It won't happen in a day. But 67 days have already passed. What you're saying today and right now, with all stakeholders coming onto the table, maybe something like this, some confidence building should have been done even before. What was happening for the last 70 odd days?
For the last 70 odd days, the IT-BT minister, Mr. Ramalinga Reddy, within the government also, there are a lot of, discussions which are happening, like what we should do. Like my friend Salim said, there is livelihood question for around 20 or 30,000 people. What should we do? Bengaluru is a city which is growing day by day. Should we also have an option of bike taxis? There is a lot of things that is going on within the government. A lot of discussions are happening. If we have to allow the bike taxis, what are the rules that we have to do? And now I think all what we have discussed will be brought to the High Court, and we will see how we can. It will be a win-win situation for the auto taxi guys also. It will be a win-win situation for the gig workers also. It will be a win-win situation for the
No, a silver lining from
society
from your comments, but sir, the point is that this should have happened 2 days back. This should have happened like yesterday, and that's the point that they've been making. For 60 days, somebody out of job, no money to bring back home, puts the entire family in a tumultuous, sort of a situation. We will come back to you. Let's again bring Salim ji, president of the Nama Bike Association. Salim ji, what the government here is saying that the aggregators have put the bike riders in jeopardy because tomorrow they could face legal action. Now, which is again my question. When you were talking to some of your, Nama Bike Association members, some of your brothers who are in this, gig association, did you tell them about the perils? Did you tell them about the dangers of plying today? Helmet laga ke, if your helmet is covering your face, the number plate is still available with the authorities, right? Legal action can come thick and fast and soon.
Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you now, from morning my phone has not stopped ringing. I have been informing each and every month. This is without any information, you people can't go on ride. See, there is something called the legal and law binding this thing. From the High Court, they pass. See, anyhow, it is going positive way. So we are also not interrupting with the High Court this thing. So we are letting it go. Everything was in positive way. And suddenly it might be a technical glitch or I don't know what happened. Suddenly it got opened actually. So we have been from morning now, I've been with all the meetings and this thing, we have been telling the bike taxi people also, see still whatever you people are doing till they do it, it is not that confirmed from the High Court that you are supposed to go on the road. Okay, but the thing, what answer I am getting, it's like, sir, today it's open, let us at least finish it off today.
It seems like emotions have taken over the single, judge's binding order. But Mr. Salim, let us also ask you, when you talk about what you expect from the government, Mr. Satya Prakash, he's the Congress spokesperson, and he's saying all stakeholders will come to the table.
Definitely, the expect is nothing but legalized bike taxi.
Legalized bike taxi.
Because, sir, a single guy, if he wants to go somewhere, the last mile connectivity, he will definitely use a bike taxi.
Just a sec,
two people, definitely they will. If there are 2 people, definitely they will go for auto. If there are 3 to 4 people, definitely he will book a cab. Come on, Bengaluru, it's like growing day by day, and it is like everybody has the opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Satya Prakash, your rejoinder very quick. I've got 2 other panelists to go to as well.
Yeah. How do you legalize? You can legalize only when the government takes a decision whether whiteboards which don't pay commercial taxes are allowed to do this business.
Sir, we've been discussing about the burden on the state exchequer the entire day. And the latest CAG report also says that Karnataka is going to run into lakhs of crores of rupees in terms of burden if they don't stop with their welfare schemes or they, sort of redraw the calculations of their mathematics and their welfare schemes. So that's a different aspect altogether. We saw how the UPI, scanners were taken down because the government was trying to push for some sort of GST mechanism. They wanted some more money. We know the burden on the state exchequer. So we'll see how soon this is going to be legalized, what really happens on the ground. But let me quickly go across to Mr. Tanveer Pasha. Mr. Pasha, tomorrow, within 1 month's time, if a regulation comes across and we've legalized bike taxis, who's going to tell us that the Auto and the Drivers Association and the unions will not come onto the streets because they've already been showing their ire. They say their money is getting undercut. This was our business. Now this business is being usurped by these two-wheelers, the Rapido bikes and Uber bikes. Are you going to be okay with it? The legalization of the two-wheelers?
No, we will also fight. We will also fight, and we will discuss. Because
but are they not human beings? Are they not human beings, Mr. Pasha? They should also have the the right to earn their livelihood.
Let me complete. Then let me complete.
Okay.
20 to 30,000 today bike riders are there. They are dependents. Who made them dependents? These illegal companies who told them to come to the Bangalore city and start illegal, which is not in the rule book.
It's the tech city, sir. It's the tech city. All applications are built over there, Mr. Pasha.
Fine. That means whatever it is under the constitution, we have to follow the rules and regulations. Being a citizen of this country, if it is not there, we can install the system and then we can request the government, or forcefully, we should go and ask the government, you create the law. Is that
simple question, Mr. Pasha? Simple question. Tomorrow, if the regulation comes and if yellow board, white board, no matter what, if they are legalized, are the Drivers Association or the Auto Union, are they going to be okay with it?
No, we will go for pluralists because 3 lakh auto drivers are there. More than lakh taxi drivers are there. Their life is completely dependent here. In bike taxi, part-time workers are so using these bike taxis as a part-time after their employment. For even the who doesn't have driving licenses, the college students, school students for the pocket money, they are also doing it. So what is that the 3 to 4 lakh rupees on the investment of auto and 8 to 10 lakh on the investment of taxi? These people, where has to go?
They'll also pay their tax. They'll pay their tax every year. They'll pay their tax every year, just like the auto people pay their taxes, the cabs pay their taxes, the two-wheelers will also pay their tax. Of course, you will be on the stakeholders table. Now, when the discussion happens, you will be there. You will raise these points.
Yeah,
but they are also in the rightful position. They can ply, they can provide that service for money.
And also we'll ask the government, from last 8 years, these companies are running illegally and they raise thousands of crores. How can it possible in our country without having any rules and regulations? The companies can start and raise the funding, then they can demand for the rules and regulations. They should come out with a
all right. Mr. Menon, let's come to you. There's another argument that's doing the rounds, and it says essentially that the state has withdrawn its electric scooter policy also back in 2021. That was under due duress from the auto union, and the government is denying both commuters and youth employment opportunities. Concrete steps that are to be taken by the government, they seem to be missing. Mr. Satyaprakash now assures us that there is going to be some sort of discussion which will take place, but aren't we already too late? And if the regulation does come about, you have the auto unions and then you have the cab unions.
So I think, it's again, at the end of the day, you have to leave it to market forces at times. These are all evolving. In fact, to tell you the truth, that even the autos today, are using ride-hailing apps, right? They are using Namayatri, they are using Uber, they are using Ola, right? So at the end of the day, the whole regime is actually changing, to where everybody seems to have an equal opportunity on this level playing field, right? Now, at the end of the day, it's the customer who has to decide. And, like I think one of them said, if it's a single customer, he says, I don't want to necessarily take a taxi or an auto. So I think, market forces will prevail over there. The customers' choices will prevail over there. And I think everybody has to just become more competitive. I don't travel by auto right now because most autos turn you down. They do not want to go where you want to go. And I've been very miffed with that. So at the end of the day, if they see a healthy competition that comes up, they are also going to start playing by that level playing field. Today, Namayatri has become an extremely very useful platform, and I commend them over and above Ola and Uber also, because the actual taxi driver or the auto driver actually gets most of the revenue out of it. So market forces are going to play in this entire debate that we are having today, and I think the customer at the end of the day is king. Everybody has to make sure that you actually can service the customer, and as the competition increases, the customer service is also going to go up, so everybody's going to be competing for that same pie. So
certain points that you've raised
all
here,
of them can coexist. And I think they should all be encouraged. But I do agree that they need to be regulated. There needs to be a framework under which they operate, so that there is a recourse for the customer.
And soon, we have a 1-month ultimatum with the Karnataka government. Let's see what they come up with. On that note, I'm going to thank all my panelists, Mr. Satyaprakash, Vivek Menon, Salimji, and Tanveer Pasha. Many thanks for joining us on the broadcast here. We've heard issues and arguments from both sides. Let's see what the government comes up in terms of their regulation. But they are in their rightful place to carry on with this particular trade. What really happens on the ground? Well, we'll wait and find out. Many thanks for watching in your interest. For now, a quick commercial break. Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत.
Chandigarh, Coimbatore, NCR and Bengaluru, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Raipur and Hyderabad. We've been here, we've been there. Veka's been just everywhere.
सर वाटरप्रूफिंग के लिए बेस्ट है.
हमेशा वाला क्यों नहीं?
वेंकी जी एक छोटा सा गिफ्ट बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस देने के लिए।
मतलब प्रोडक्ट वारंटी।
वारंटी तो है ही, ये एक्स्ट्रा है। 1 साल में वाटरप्रूफिंग को कुछ भी हुआ तो वापस करके देंगे।
वापस करके देंगे।
वो भी फ्री। पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Go condoms?
It's over.
क्या ये डिफरेंट साइजेस में आता है?
Actually, sir, size matter नहीं करता.
तो फिर क्या मैटर करता है?
The hardness
Of the condom.
of what's inside.
For the first time ever, presenting Hard Rock Gel.
अब free हर score condoms के 10 पैक के साथ.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
India's Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Ashwini Vaishnav, in the Rajya Sabha today pressed the government's push against the rising peril of online money gaming, calling it a growing public health and financial crisis. He highlighted that some 45 crore Indians have been affected. An estimated annual loss is at 20,000 crore rupees. The Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Bill 2025, which he piloted, encourages e-sports and social games, but it imposes a sweeping ban on real money gaming. It restricts the advertisements and bars banks